Friends, family, and co-workers say Sanders was beloved, and he was a big teddy bear.
This case involves the violent death of a real person and ongoing trauma to his surviving family, including young children. Covered factually, without graphic descriptions. Viewer discretion is advised. A man is doing a little girl's hair. He has no idea what he is doing, holding up an empty cologne bottle like evidence, trying rubber bands, different angles. He stops, looks at the lens, says he doesn't know what he's doing, but Daddy has got it. The little girl giggles. High five. That is the first thing you see. Not a crime scene. Not a headline. That man with that child. Keep it. You are going to need it. Just after midnight on May 26, 2026, a 911 call came in to Harris County dispatchers. Deputies from Precinct 3 were directed to the 12700 block of Blue Timbers Court in northeast Harris County. A man was down in the roadway. His wife was performing CPR on him in the street while holding their baby. Neighbors heard her screaming before anything else. He had stayed exactly where he and his wife agreed he would stand. He had not spoken. He had not moved. His only purpose was to help collect a child from a scheduled exchange and drive home. He never drove home. The man who fired the shots knew exactly who was standing by that car before he opened his door. No argument. No altercation. The decision had been made hours earlier, documented in a text, confirmed in a question called from inside a house, executed the moment the answer refused to come. His name was Marlon Sanders Sr., 36 years old. 24 days before someone decided his life was expendable, he had just been awarded his master's degree. Welcome to Behind Unreal Love Crimes. Subscribe and tell us where in the world you are watching from. Marlon Sanders Sr. was born May 23, 1990, in Port Arthur, Texas. He graduated from Memorial High School in 2009, where classmates elected him class chaplain, the moral leadership role of a graduating class, given to the person the class trusted most. He was 18, and it was the first evidence of who he would spend the rest of his life being. He enrolled at Wiley College in Marshall, Texas, a historically black institution, earned his Bachelor of Science, and in 2015 met Kaylin Ward. They married May 18, 2017. 4 children followed, daughters Mackenzie, Cole, and Carson, and son Marlon Jr., MJ. He continued through Strayer University and Wiley University's graduate program, and on May 2, 2026, 24 days before his death, was awarded a Master of Science in Higher Education Administration, still building. He never got to build anything with it. At Port Arthur, ISD, music teacher and choir director at Staff Sergeant Lucian Adams Elementary, assistant football and basketball coach at Memorial High School. Outside school hours, singer, DJ, musician. His colleagues called him the school's hype guy, directed energy that found the person in the corner who wasn't sure they belonged and made them feel like they did. Principal Dr. Shalonda Filer met him at teacher orientation. She saw him and knew. He told her husband he was going to take care of her, and for 7+ years he did. Her words. He actually cared. It was a genuine care that he had for people and children. He had a heart, a huge heart for education. He is survived by Kaylin Ward Sanders, daughters Mackenzie, Cole, and Carson, son MJ, parents Melinda and Peter Pickens and Gerald Sanders, sisters Mendy Phillips and Carria Jones, and brother Dominique Thomas. Behind Unreal Love Crimes exists for cases like Marlon's. Subscribe if you haven't. This case is only getting started. Marlon and Kaylin had been married since May 2017. Court records confirm the marriage hit a difficult period, and they separated approximately 3 years before the shooting. During that separation, Kaylin entered a relationship with Gary Davis, a 38-year-old Houston area man, born January 26, 1988. That relationship produced a child, 9 months old at the time of the shooting, who would become the center of a custody arrangement, a dispute, and ultimately, a murder. After the baby was born, Marlon and Kaylin reconciled, A child now existed who was biologically connected to another man who was not going away. Their response to that reality is the moral center of this story. They opened the door voluntarily. No court filing, no formal documentation. Davis got multi-day visits. Marlon, with no biological connection to this child, supported the arrangement because he decided a baby who had no say in the circumstances of her birth deserved to know her father. His own discomfort was not reason enough to deny her that. That decision, freely made, principled, requiring real sacrifice, is the act of grace at the center of this story. It is also what put Marlon on Blue Timber's court. No public source has produced a statement from Davis explaining his actions. His background is not in the public record. What exists is behavioral evidence. 3 documented actions that tell you more about him than any biography could. First, the text. Court records confirm Davis sent Kaylin a message telling her he was on that type of time and threatening not to return their child. That is not the language of someone who lost control. It signals someone announcing a posture, communicating the normal terms have been suspended. Deliberate. Chosen. Second, the question. When his daughter was in Callan's arms, and the exchange was moments from complete, Davis called out, "Who you out there with?" No word about the baby. No goodbye. His focus was entirely on Marlon. Third, the phone calls made after the shooting, not panic but calculation, confirming what the text and the question already showed. Throughout every stage of that night, Davis's attention was on Marlon's existence in Kaylin's life, not on his daughter. Neighbor Jasmine Nicholson told reporters, "We knew that gentleman there had a lot of anger issues. Common knowledge on that street, and knowledge that existed entirely outside the reach of any institution equipped to act on it. For a period, the arrangement worked. Unremarkable, predictable, low contact. Then it stopped. Investigators pieced together that Davis's cooperation had been deteriorating in the weeks before May 26th. Messages grew shorter. Confirmations stopped. Handoffs began carrying tension neither Kaylin nor Marlon had encountered before. Investigators characterized it as a building progression toward confrontation, not a spontaneous reaction. It reached its endpoint when Davis sent a text making his intentions explicit. A few days before May 26th, Kaylin dropped the baby off with Davis for a scheduled visit. Unremarkable. Nothing flagged. When pickup time arrived, Davis sent the text, "On that type of time," threatening to withhold the child. Court records confirmed the timestamp, placed it before Marlon and Kaylin ever arrived. Davis documented his own hostile intent before the event occurred. Marlon could have stayed behind, but when his family needed him present, he was present. They drove to 12700 Blue Timbers Court in northeast Harris County, just after midnight. Tuesday, May 26, 2026. The block was dark, residential, quiet, asleep. The plan: Marlon stays by the vehicle. Kaylin goes to the door, gets the baby, comes back. Halen walked to the door. Gary Davis did not answer. His mother did. She went inside, returned with the baby, handed her to Kaylin. For one moment, the exchange appeared to be resolving. Then, from inside the house, Davis called out, "Who you out there with?" Not a word about his daughter, his own child, leaving. No goodbye, no acknowledgement. His entire attention was on who Kaylin brought. Nobody answered. Kaylin turned and walked toward the vehicle. That refusal is what triggered what came next. Davis came out of the front door armed. No pause. He moved directly and at speed across the yard toward the truck. Marlon had not moved, had not spoken, had not taken a single step toward the house. He was stationary and unarmed when Davis reached him. Davis fired twice. Marlon Sanders collapsed near the end of the driveway and into the roadway beside his truck. Kaylin was feet away holding the baby. She turned toward her husband. She went to him. She began performing CPR in the street, hands on his chest, working, with the baby in the chaos around her. Neighbor Amber Howard was upstairs watching television when the night broke open. She heard a woman screaming Davis's name, demanding the baby. 2 shots. Then a different kind of screaming. When Howard looked outside, Kaylin was performing CPR in the road. "It had my ears ringing a bit," she told reporters. "It was just 2 shots." What Jasmine Nicholson said when she came outside confirmed what the neighborhood already knew. Davis's behavior was not a departure from the man they knew. It was a culmination. Davis got into a separate vehicle and drove away without looking at his daughter or at the woman in the street. Harris County Precinct 3 deputies responded. Life-saving measures were initiated. Marlon was transported by ambulance. The injuries were not survivable. Marlon Sanders Sr. was pronounced dead. Within minutes, Davis was calling Kaylin from his own phone. While she was still in the street, deputies already present. When she handed the phone to an officer, he hung up immediately. He called back from different numbers. Every call was logged in carrier records. The pattern of calls and the immediate disconnection when law enforcement answered constitute behavioral evidence of consciousness of guilt. Prosecutors can use this independently of any witness. He did not call to surrender. He called to find out what was being said about him. Beyond the grief, Marlon's death left a legal situation no family court had anticipated. The baby is 9 months old. Her biological father is in jail, charged with Marlon's murder. Under Texas law, a parent convicted of murdering another person does not retain automatic unsupervised access to their child, meaning a conviction here triggers a separate legal process around Davis's parental rights, with his daughter at the center of it, without any say. Who holds legal custody of her right now remains publicly unresolved. HCSO homicide detectives and CSI responded alongside Precinct 3 deputies. Davis's mother was still on the premises. Multiple neighbors had seen Davis exit the house armed. Kaylin gave investigators a complete account. The text, the handoff from Davis's mother, the question from inside, the moment Davis appeared armed. Her account identified the texts as pre-crime evidence, giving investigators the legal basis to subpoena phone records. The subpoena confirmed the message predated the couple's arrival. Her statement placed Davis's hostile intent on record before the confrontation occurred. The Harris County Institute of Forensic Sciences conducted the autopsy. Cause of death? Gunshot wound. Manner of death? Homicide. That designation is the medical foundation the murder charge rests on. Sheriff Ed Gonzalez publicly confirmed the full sequence and commended the VCAT, K-9 units, and air support. His statements ran across ABC 13, Fox 26, KU, 12 News Now, and Click 2 Houston. The Violent Criminals Apprehension Team, K-9 units, and air support were deployed. Running from a murder committed in front of your own mother, on a street with multiple witnesses, does not lead anywhere that counts as escape. Davis was located and taken without incident. No standoff, no resistance. The man who crossed that yard surrendered quietly. He was booked into the Harris County Jail and charged with murder. Prosecutors filed a motion requesting no bond. Reports are inconsistent. Fox 26 and 12 News Now reported none set. One report placed it at $200,000. Check the Harris County District Clerk's public portal for current status. ABC 13's Maya confirmed the booking live at the jail. Danielle Tiwa Palau of 12 News Now covered the Port Arthur response. Anchor Nick introduced her report. Behind Unreal Love Crimes covers every step of this case. Grand jury, indictment, trial. Subscribe and turn on notifications now. All of this is analysis. The trial has not occurred. Davis is charged with murder under the Texas Penal Code, a first-degree felony carrying 5 to 99 years or life, plus up to $10,000. The prosecution's case is layered and self-corroborating. The pre-crime text, Marlon's stationary position confirmed by physical evidence, the autopsy's homicide designation, post-crime call logs, and a witness stack including Kaylin Ward Sanders, Davis's own mother, Amber Howard, and Jasmine Nicholson. Self-defense is not viable. Marlon was unarmed, stationary, made no move toward Davis, who ran from a building to reach him. A sudden passion defense is more plausible, but faces three problems. The pre-crime text documents hostile intent before Davis ever saw Marlon. The provocation was an unanswered question, called from inside a house, and the speed and directness of Davis's armed exit suggest preparation, not impulse. Harris County typically takes 12 to 24 months to bring a murder case to trial. The case is 4 weeks old. No plea discussions have been reported. This is not about Davis specifically. It is about what allowed the situation to reach a fatal endpoint without intervention. The co-parenting arrangement was entirely outside the family court system. No custody petition, no parenting plan, no exchange protocol. Nothing that compelled Davis to return the child when he decided not to. In Texas, a protective order requires documented evidence of family violence or a credible imminent threat. A neighborhood's knowledge of a man's anger issues does not meet that threshold. The gap between what the community could see and what the law could act on is precisely where this case fell through, and it is a structural condition relationship homicide researchers identify across case after case. Davis had a daughter. He had access to her. Access Marlon and Kaylin voluntarily provided. A path forward as a father, built entirely on the goodwill of the people he resented most. Nobody was blocking him. The door was open because the man he targeted decided it should be. And he walked through it, crossed that yard, and destroyed every future. His daughter's future with him, Marlon's 4 children's future with their father, and the life Marlon had been building degree by degree, student by student, game by game, all the way up to May 2nd. If you are in a co-parenting situation where messages are getting harder, exchanges more tense, and the other party is signaling they no longer intend to honor the arrangement, this case is what that trajectory can become. Informal arrangements built on goodwill work when both parties act in good faith. When one stops, goodwill cannot protect anyone. A formal custody agreement, court-approved parenting plan, neutral exchange location, documented communication, these exist right now, before you urgently need them. Marlon and Kaylin did not have that documentation on Blue Timber's court. The difference between this case and one that did not end this way is often a single document nobody thought to file. The morning after Marlon died, district spokesperson Adrian Lott confirmed the superintendent, counselors, and social workers from across Port Arthur ISD were at Lucian Adams Elementary before students arrived. Staff gathered in his classroom and grieved through sound, the thing he had spent 7 years teaching them to use. Dr. Shalonda Filer spoke with the intimacy of someone who had lost family. Andre Bevel described a grief that doesn't quite believe itself. 12 News Now reporter Danielle Tiwa Palau covered the community response. ABC 13 reporter Maya was live at the jail confirming Davis's booking. Pastor Wanda L. Baden and the Nehemiah crew arrived with more than 20 raised garden containers, reviving the Garden of Hope, a project stalled since Hurricane Harvey. It arrived the day the campus was absorbing the death of its hype guy, called Hope, coming the way Marlon always came, without ceremony, landing in the middle of people who needed it. Marlon's funeral, Saturday, June 13th, 2026, Cathedral of Faith Baptist Church, 3755 Fannett Road, Beaumont, Texas. Burial at Greenlawn Memorial Park. Elected moral leader of his class at 18. Married the woman he met at college. Built a family of 4. Taught children to find their voices. On May 2nd, 2026, awarded a master's degree. Still building, 3 weeks before his 36th birthday. 24 days later, he stood exactly where he said he would stand, and was shot by a man who could not accept the reality that Marlon simply lived better inside. Buried 42 days after the highest academic achievement of his life. Marlon Sanders Sr., teacher, coach, choir director, husband, father of 4, the school's hype guy, the man who changed every room he entered, the man who extended grace to someone who had no interest in receiving it gracefully. This story is not finished. Gary Davis goes to trial. When that day comes, Behind Unreal Love Crimes will be here. Grand jury, indictment, arraignment, pretrial motions, trial. Behind Unreal Love Crimes covers every one of those steps in the same depth you just watched. Subscribe and hit the bell. We are coming back. Drop a comment. Where are you watching from? What part of this case stayed with you? Which case you want covered next? We are reading. The Sanders family asked for prayers and privacy. Give them both.